Okay, just by way of quick recap, we've created a function, docal, that returns some data about available time slots as an array, and we've set up this function, set up REST route to establish a route, and we have this uh, uh, namespace and the route name, and then the callback, and we'd like to actually, so far we haven't actually passed through the actual date that our user picked, and we would kind of like that to work. So uh, we've got to make a couple of changes. One is we've got to make this thing understand, this docal function understand what day we're talking about, and we've got to then have the front end.js actually ask for a specific date. But let's handle this end first, because one thing I like to do with REST routes is just go ahead and make them, and then you can test them right from the address bar in your browser. You don't have to have written the call code at all at that point. So you get it working first, you get confident that it does what you think it does, then you can start calling it. So life is easy here because we get, whoops, that's not what I wanted. We get in our function, we get passed in, just like attributes, we get passed in an array of stuff, and it's an associative array. And so if we pass in, let's say that on our in REST route URL, we add something that says, um, you know, date equals some date, right? Well, we will get there will be um, an array element where the property is date and the value is the whatever was entered by the user. So we can just use that directly. And just to illustrate that it's going through, I'm not really going to try to do anything with it here, but just so that it's clear that it is getting here, let's just make this part of the array equal to stuff date. So it should just say the date, which is totally wrong, but that way we'll know it got there, right? So let's save that, and then we can go over to our front end here, and we can say WP-JSON, and then PZV1 and then we can do this, question mark date equals, and this would ordinarily be like a date, but let's just say hello here, okay? Now we'll get a response. Wow, this is slow. See, there it is. So we know that it got there, and we know how to send the information through. So I'll just back up a step here. And over in frontend.js, here, we will mess around with our onChange here, and um, we will actually call this URL will be like this. It will be date equals, and then we will concatenate new val. Okay, so down here I'm gonna, well, I'll just go ahead and save this, but I do need to run npm run start. Now, when we go over to our page, I should probably reload this just to be on the safe side. So bear with me here. Okay, so now if I pick a date like the 6th, then that's the information that was passed as the on-change data. So, and it is the 6th, right? 6/6. Got some extra information, the year and the timestamp, but the essential part there is that it's 6/6. So that gets it there, and it's getting handed back to us. So that kind of takes care of that. Now, the next thing that we would want to add is that things would get fancier here, and we would show maybe a modal or something like that, or maybe down below here we'd have a section where we had available time slots. That's probably a good way to do it, is put it down here. And that's not something I'm going to do right this second, but that's what would happen, and then we would use a REST API to send which field, which time slot the person picked. But we'll leave that for another day. But that gets us all the way through using REST, writing a REST API, and passing data back and forth from the front end of a block to the server at the real moment when the user is interacting with this page on the site. So that was our goal, and I think we can put a check mark there. And thanks for riding along here. Thanks. Bye-bye.